Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Seen Beyond and Through with Monty. Right before you is 18 years old Ione Jones. Now, Ione made some news this week because, as you have heard, she is one of 3 women who was caught on tape during a wig heist in Florida. Now, before I go any farther, I want you to see the robbery that Ione and her 2 accomplices committed at this wig store.
30. On 30.
So you've seen that piece of footage there, and that was disturbing, kind of heartbreaking to watch. You just have a family there. It was a mother and her daughter. The daughter is the one who got pepper sprayed. And you see that they went out the door after them. And this is Ione here upon entering the store. And these are her 2 accomplices there. One is carrying a baby, and the other one is very pregnant. And they have no mask on, nothing to hide their identity. From what I've heard, Ione has the only one who's been captured now. It's only a matter of time before these 2 young ladies or girls be captured. And the funny thing about this video, when I say funny, I don't mean funny. I'm talking about it's so ironic and so strange, is that when I looked into this incident of women robbing wig stores, it is very prevalent. It is much more prevalent than what I could have imagined. As I started to research this, I found incident upon incident upon incident. This is not by any means an isolated incident. And this particular conversation is going to get very uncomfortable because majority of these incidents are involving Black women. Now, this video is not to bash Black women. However, it is meant to be truthful. So I'm going to get into some deep things here. So trigger warning, it may be uncomfortable for a lot of people, what I'm going to say. But what I'm going to say needs to be said. Someone has to say it, but because I'm going to take it to a little different angle, like on some other videos in which I have touched on before. But before I get into that particular commentary, I want you to pay attention and look at these other 4 incidents that I put on one video. One of them, the second one, is going to be a still because they get into a fight. And YouTube, as you know, do not allow fighting. They will strike the video. So I had to just put in a still. And the other ones, I want you to pay attention to what is going on. They're going to be short clips of other robberies. And here you go.
At a beauty shop turned out to have something else in her big bag.
She pulled a gun and fired it when confronted by the shop owner. News 2's Bess Casserly has the video you have got to see.
The shop owner says he was shocked when the seemingly innocent-looking young woman pulled a weapon over a single wig.
Hey, don't move.
A Baton Rouge beauty shop owner confronting a woman he watched steal a wig on his extensive security system. Realizing she damaged one of them while stuffing it in her bag, he asks her to pay or he'll get the cops involved.
She flipped, pointed the gun at me, shot at the ceiling, and then pointed it right at me, and that's when I ducked and I just took off. Then she went back to the counter, hopped on the counter, took 2 more wigs, dropped back, and my employee was back here and literally standing right here, and she stood in front of the register and she asked for, to give her all the bundles.
Those bundles worth up to $120 a piece, and he wasn't going to let her get away with more merchandise.
Back there, I heard her say that I took a shot on the ground to scare her off, and it did exactly that.
The thief scared away, and the employees left shaken as well.
I thought she was going to pull the trigger and hit me in the back.
Punching, pepper spray, all over a wig. Police are now trying to track down 3 people connected to a violent confrontation and robbery inside this Montgomery County shop. Wig shop.
$13,000 worth of wigs. Fox 35's David Bowden is live tonight. And David, this is not the only local business that was hit.
That's right, Luann. We learned that there was another business that was hit. That one was a hair salon. But here at the Sassy Sisters boutique, surveillance video shows crooks breaking in and trying to clear out the place. The video is clear. Thieves break into the Sassy Sisters boutique at around 3 a.m. Monday morning, December 6th. Jasmine Jackson, co-owner of the shop, says she could not believe what she was seeing.
It was just heartbreaking. It was really heartbreaking, nerve-wracking.
She quickly got on her phone and called her sister and shop co-owner Ebony Rainey to tell her that there had been a break-in.
I immediately looked at the footage, and my reaction, it's just like my heart dropped.
The crooks get through the glass door and immediately start ripping the wigs off the heads of the mannequins, making off with between 30 and 35 wigs.
It's been a really big impact. I would say not only just inventory-wise, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually.
These wigs are not your grandmother's style of inexpensive, casual hair pieces. They're made from real human hair and can cost in the hundreds, even thousands of dollars. That's a hard hit after a major slowdown in business because of COVID. But despite the loss, the ladies say they are looking forward to better days ahead.
I believe there's a blessing in all curses. So it did give me the drive to kind of push harder and to hustle more and to increase those security mechanisms that we have in the shop now.
So you've seen that. So we have black women out there, those who are stealing this type of hair, this human hair, wig hair. They are willing to risk their lives. They are willing to risk the lives of children. Because let's face it, someone could have shot. Someone could have pepper sprayed them back. And who knows what type of breathing effect that could have had on them or the baby in which she's carrying. We're talking about putting your children in harm's way for a wig. We're talking about, in the other videos, you clearly seen one had a gun. She's holding up a gun or threatening the guy with a gun. We're seeing that people are willing to risk their lives for a wig. We're seeing that people are willing to have their children taken away, to risk jail time for a wig, or bundles, or a weave. We're talking about having your life permanently altered. And we're talking about possibly altering the lives of relatives, of grandparents, who want to retire, who want to live in their golden years of golden age. But they're going to be saddled with raising children. Children who needs a lot of attention. They have a lot of energy. You're talking about making their lives harder because you have something that you want to put on your head that is unnecessary. You know, we're talking about the girl who pepper sprayed the young lady behind a counter. You know, pepper spray, read up about it carefully. Read up about mace carefully, what it can do to the eyes. There has been rare instances where people can go blind. It can visually impair your vision for years to come. It could be permanent. I had a foreign substance put into my eye once, and my left eye, it jumped inadvertently for 3 years. So this is what we're talking about. We don't really know the effects that it can have on each individual. It's like a case-by-case basis. Hopefully, with time and rinse, it will just wash away and the effects will go. But for a small group of people, the effects can be permanent. And we have people who are not really thinking these things through maturely or logically. It's almost like with some of them, it's a game going in there. And one thing, if you notice, they're not stealing wigs that looks like this. They're not stealing wigs that are in their natural pattern, hair texture, curl pattern. They're not even this length right there. They're going for something that looks more like this, which is what I'm going to get into in a minute. Wigs that look like this. Wigs that are this length, that I think is just ridiculous. This length right here, what is this? 64 inches, 70 inches? I mean, really, it's like ridiculous. You cannot look at inches like this and think that, it's desirable by black men. I do not believe that any black male is requiring a female to have a length that long. So what I'm getting at with that is that this over-exaggeration here is women doing that to themselves. Sometimes we as black people, when we do things, we got to do things bigger and better. We're very creative people, but we tend to go take the extra mile with doing things. You know, we have to amp it up shit to the 100th degree. And this is pretty much what you're seeing right here with these ridiculous lengths of hair. And as they said, you know, the longer the hair, the more expensive it's going to be. But with all this hair, I want to get into a deeper psychological and metaphysical level with this. First off, let me say this. All of these women are beautiful, stunning women. And as you see, they're flossing, flaunting, flexing their Indian hair. Now, my question would be, and a lot of this is to find out answers for myself, because I would like to know, would you be just as proud to floss and flex your own natural hair as you are this Indian hair? And most of this hair comes from India. And let me tell you a bit about Indian people. That particular country or continent has the largest selling and market for bleaching creams and cosmetics. They can be very colorist. They can be very racist, very anti-black, very anti-African, very anti-kinky hair. So in many instances, you're putting the hair of people into your head who do not like you, who think of you as being less than. And with that hair, you're walking around flaunting it, flexing it, like somehow it adds to you. It makes you more beautiful. And that's the problem. This is a residual effect from slavery that so many of us black people, men and women, still are carrying around insecurities and inferiority complexes about our own hair. Notice that you do not see other races of people running to get the kinky hair that black people have. You don't see them willing to floss that particular hair around or to add to them like somehow it's a beauty mark or a beauty standard that somehow improves them. And we're the only race of people who are willing to go into a shop to take our children with us while we commit a robbery, risking being shot, putting ourselves in harm's way, risking our futures, just for hair of other races of people. And many times these races think of us as dogs. They don't like us. They're very racist towards us. When have we gotten to this point right here where we have ridiculous long hair that's like 70, 80 inches long? I mean, I can remember 10 years ago, the natural hair movement was catching on. And it was great because it was putting a lot of people who are using black people, who are in black communities, who don't really like us, who are very racist towards us. It was putting them out of business. All of a sudden, that has come to a screeching halt. And here, we're at this point right here, where we're constantly committing these robberies now. For what? For this type of hair. And apparently there's a big market within the black community for this type of hair. We are spending billions of dollars a year making other people, other communities rich, sending their kids off to college, to medical school, to pharmacy school, to be attorneys, and like forth, while we're stuck in poverty. Our kids are wanting. But look at what we're spending on hair, though. Look at what we're willing to steal for. I mean, this has got to be some type of psychological mental issue that we are going through, that we are still dealing with. It's almost like we fell back asleep. We'll make progress, then we'll digress backwards. We'll make progress, then we'll digress backwards. And here where we're at right now. To the point where we're just a laughing stock of the world when it comes to this right here. This is not a good look for black women. Stealing hair that don't belong to you. It's not a good look for black people overall. It really isn't. So we have to ask ourselves, where do we go from here? What exactly do we do? It's almost like, yes, we're in need of some type of reparative therapy. We've always had issues with our hair. We still, in this day and age right here, talk about good hair and bad hair. This is the reason why somebody like Blue Ivy, a child, can get ridiculed by grown women. She gets ridiculed about her hair. Because we have such deep-seated issues related to our hair that we have not dealt with nor gotten over. And this is the result of it right here. So the step forward and step backwards, what I was referring to has to deal with this here that I touched on. The natural hair movement was once growing very big among black women. It seems like it's digressing backwards to the point where these types of wigs here, I'm not saying these are wigs that these ladies are wearing, but I'm trying to say that wigs in this style pattern and length are not being stolen. They're not being sought after. They're going for the big, big extras. And you have to wonder, are women really proud of this type of hair anymore? Are they happy to have this type of hair? Does this type of hair make women feel beautiful? Does it make them feel desirable or wanted? Mostly, how does it make, inwardly for themselves, how do they feel with this type of hair? And how do they view other black women with this type of hair? You can have kinky hair and it can be very versatile. You can style it in a lot of different ways. You can actually, and black women know this already, I'm not telling you nothing that you don't know, holistically straighten it out. I don't think there's anything wrong with wearing a wig per se. Maybe synthetic. Natural hair, if you don't know where it's coming from, whose hair it was, I'm not for that because I believe that hair holds energy. I believe that you can hold a racist person who's racist, vindictive, manipulative, who's hateful. All of that energy will be in that hair. So, no, I'm not for actual human hair if you don't know who the person is. But I'm all for, and I understand that women have a need to change up. Do different styles. It could be longer and straighter. But not to the point where you're going to steal for it. And not to the point where you think that somehow straight hair coming from another race makes you more beautiful. That's a big difference in thinking right there. So a lot of times, it depends on the mentality and the thought after this particular wig or weave, lace front or whatever, is put into the hair. How does a woman feel? Does she feel empowered, emboldened by the hair of another race of a woman? Or does she feel like it's just something to change up on that particular day and it just, adds spice to my life? Completely understandable. But not understandable to the point where somehow thinking that it adds to or make me more beautiful, then that points towards self-hatred, lack of self-acceptance of you as a black woman, and all that comes with being a black woman. The kinkier hair, the coilier hair. Not saying that all black people have that particular hair pattern, but those people with that hair pattern, if they think that another hair texture or pattern is more superior, then there is a problem. There's a big problem. And it's a problem that we all need to deal with. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty, and I will see you all beyond and through.